What should South Africa's game plan be against England? That is a question that was sent in by you guys, one of you guys, to us on Instagram. And this is your fan Q&A, live fan Q&A with myself, Khalid, as well as Aditya. Today we're going to answer your questions that you've sent in to us, either on social media, either, i.e. Twitter and Instagram, or in the live chat as well. So we're going to be discussing this, and I'm taking it that it's probably going to be very World Cup centric, seeing that South Africa is going to be playing England in a quarter-final, we call it, against the best team in the tournament currently, other than Pakistan, of course. So South Africa take on England, and this is an excellent question to be asked to us because we can kind of give another or second preview to the game. We do have a preview on this channel, so you can go ahead and check that out. Myself and Werner did a preview on the game for tomorrow, so you can go look at that on the channel as well. But we're going to start off this particular video also by answering your questions on Instagram first before we get to the ones in the live chat. But before we get going, before we get started, we know we have a couple of things that we'd like you guys to do, and that's subscribe to Cricket Fanatics magazine. The monthly magazine is 100% free in your inbox every single month, and especially the latest World Cup edition as well. You will get that by clicking the link in the description or going to the eye on the top right of the screen after this video is published, and then you'll be able to download that 100% free. If you're new to this channel as well and you haven't subscribed yet to this channel, what are you doing and what are you waiting for? Because you need to subscribe. You need to click that notification bell for all future videos. And not only that, guys, I would like you guys to smash the like button, comment, and share to all your friends and family so we can grow as a channel. We are growing every single month, every single week. We are growing our fan base, and we would like you guys to help us get there. Because without you guys, we are nothing. So go ahead and help us share this channel and share this content to everybody out there. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's content. Hey guys, welcome to Cricket Fanatics magazine. This is your fan Q&A, part of your daily show. I'm your host, Khalid. This is my co-host back with me again, Aditya. And we're going to be answering your questions on the... I'm thinking that it's probably going to be a lot of questions are going to be about the game tomorrow. The final game of the Super 12, the final game of Super 12, at least Group 1. And we're going to see who will make those semi-final spots. Hey, it's unfortunate, Aditya. Obviously, you've gave us a little bit of a preview as well in our preview with Werner. And we went a little bit off topic as well. We spoke a lot about the future, seeing that, we don't know what's going to happen afterwards. So let's get straight into the questions. I think that's where we start with this particular show. We always get into the questions. So I don't want to keep you guys waiting. If you guys can kindly just please wait and hold on to your questions till after we're done with the Instagram questions. Or if you want us to read out your questions immediately, then go ahead and get involved with the super chat. There's a $sign in the bottom right of the live chat. Click on that and you can get a super chat and force us to read your comment immediately on the show. So let's get into it. Okay. The first one that we're going to answer is, do you think Aiden needs to bat top of the order and help Quinton de Kock to survive through Moeen's over? So we are taking it, or we're making an assumption that probably Moeen Ali is going to open the batting against Quinton de Kock because they know that Quinton has a slight issue against spin in the past. We've heard that. I have seen a little bit of improvements in his game. He's played a little bit more attacking against them. But he does have a little flaw against the spin. And he gets frustrated quite easily and gives his wicket away. So I suggested that from my perspective, but maybe it's maybe I'm just a type of person that is optimistic and a risk taker, but I would play Aiden as an opener in this particular match just to throw England off a bit so that we can completely dominate the power play as best as possible. Now, this obviously depends on whether we're chasing and whether we're batting first, of course. I think if we're chasing and the total is low, then I think we can go with the same formula. We just go with what we trust and what we're familiar with. But if we have to chase a massive total, I think trying to take advantage of the power play is going to be so important. The most runs in the power play as possible is going to be key to our success, I feel, if we're chasing a massive total. If we're setting as well, I think the same thing. If we're setting, we need to set a massive total in order for us to beat England, is what I feel. Although they've had some problems at Sharjah, I still think that we need to just be safe and post a big total, the biggest total as possible. What's your thoughts, Aditya?
I'd like to see Quinton and Temba open because it is it is wise to have a spinner bowl, and Temba being one of the best players to spin in the team would probably be the ideal foil for Quinton, who I hope is advised to go all guns blazing tomorrow. Um, but that would be my ideal opening combination. Um, if if South Africa are setting a target, then they do need to ensure that it's big enough for the bowling attack to defend, because I think England are a better team when they chase a target because they know exactly how hard they need to go. Uh, but yeah, I mean, either way, South Africa, whether they're batting first or bowling first, they need to be attacking from ball one, right up to ball 240.
Mhm. Now, the next question is, will Klassen play? I think if I'm the same person, this is thanks to Desert 12. Um, my thing is, I think they need to go with Klassen. The big question for me is if whether they're going to go for the extra spinner and take a risk with that extra batter that is off form. You know, um, me personally, I would just say go ahead and throw Bouillon Fontaine into the mix and hope that your top five, with your six being Dwayne Pretorius, hopefully they can do the job for South Africa. Um, but I know South Africa are quite a cautious team, so I do think that Klaasen will come back into the side. What is your thoughts, Aditya?
It's hard to tell the mindset because I also didn't expect Risa to play beyond the one game that Quinton missed out. So it is hard to tell, but I think it would be smart to bring Clausen back into the setup simply because in Sharjah, the top four have to make the bulk of the runs. You know, as you keep going down the batting order, the number of balls that each batter faces will reduce. As Keshav told us in the feature that we did on him, that the number seven batter doesn't face more than six deliveries. So that should tell you that number five or number six is not going to face that many more, which is an indication of the number of balls that the top four have got to face. And wow, man, serious Diwali fireworks.
That's crazy. Celebrating for South Africa's win already early.
Exactly, exactly. Uh,
Hopefully, cross fingers, guys.
but yeah, I do think that uh, guys, relax. It's fireworks for Diwali. You know, people are writing all sorts of things in the comment section. You know? But yeah, okay, I'll stop here. I think Klassen should play at number six. Simple as that.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Okay. I mean, when it comes to class and six, I think that's a good option, especially against spin. Is very good, and I think against spinners like, I mean, Adil Rashid is doing really well. I'm a little bit skeptical about him, but I think South Africa can face him. They've faced better spinners than him, and dealt with him. So hopefully, although, ooh, Hasaranga was a problem against us, of course, taking a hat trick, but we'll have to improve and see what happens. Is it time to move? Oh, wait, let's not go to that question yet because I think that's a question that's for the future. Let's see. There's another one over here that's asked about the World Cup. Let's go to the main one. And what should South Africa's game plan be? Like I said already, I touched on it. I think South Africa need to come up and play their best cricket, and they need to put everything on the line. I don't think I'll be happy with South Africa being tentative in this match, sitting back, and then just getting the pass score. I want them to try and go ahead and properly try and put a good total on the board, or give a good aggressive opening power play section. I think that's where everything's going to be key with the ball as well. They need to strike early in the power play, get wickets to stop England early on. If they can dismiss the openers early, especially Josh Butler is going to be such a menace. I think at this moment it's about damage control early on, immediately. That's what South Africa need to do from the get go. And I think that needs to be the plan. They need to come out aggressively. They need to make sure that they get their line spot on with the ball. They need to make sure that they run between the wickets hard and they play to their strengths. And I think if South Africa play to their strengths and trust their own game plan, they can be competitive in this match. And that should be the key. Be as competitive as possible, because you always give yourself a chance to win if that's the case. What is your thoughts, Aditya?
I was just thinking about what you said. Uh, this game in particular is important for the bowlers. Remember, the bowlers are the backbone of this team.
Yeah.
They're basically carrying this team. So how the bowlers perform against England's feared batting lineup is going to be a determinant of how South Africa do in this game. Because if South Africa's bowlers have an off day tomorrow, it'll be difficult for the batters to come back into the game. Because I think the batters have had a decent tournament so far, but it's the bowlers who've really stood out. And if there's an advantage that South Africa have, is that England have not faced such a high quality bowling lineup yet. And this bowling lineup is South Africa's best chance to get the better of Butler, who's been
Mm.
an informed player, or Jason Roy, who's also been informed. So that is important. But yeah, I think all in all departments have to do really well. Fielders have to do well, and I hope that they make use of the ground dimensions, because small boundary. If you bowl anything that's in their zone, it's going to go out of the park.
Mm. And I think also, I mean, it's a very left field to think like this, and that's why I'm not the coach of South Africa, and it's a very difficult job to have to decide these things, because it can either win you or make or break a game for you. And I know it's easy for us as fans maybe to say, throw the guys that are in form right at the top, like the Aiden Markrams of the world, let David Miller come bat higher, and do all of those things, and then only use your anchors when you in trouble, maybe. That is a very dangerous way to go with it. If it comes off, it will be excellent and brilliant. But if it doesn't, we sit with a very difficult situation. But in my case, I think that is a calculated risk, because if you try and go for them as many runs as possible, and then you lose those guys, the 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 minimum possible result will be a pass score. That's what I think. When you with regards to this, but then again, changing so many things in a massive important game like this could also, just shake people too much. And I think that's also, it's a mental game so much. It's a massive mental game. South Africa just need to. That's why I said South Africa need to play their natural game. The players need to trust their own natural game, because all of these players have attacking mentality within them. Some of them just make me take longer to get there to that moment, but others can start from the get go. But I don't think they need to overthink it too much. I think they just need to go and trust their own game, and we hope that the Proteas can go out there and do us all proud. I think they already have done us proud in this tournament, the way they've gone on a winning streak, even though they lost the opening game. Yes, I'm disappointed about the performance against Australia. They're definitely a team that they could have gotten at and beaten. So that's something for obviously another day to discuss that after the World Cup is done. But I hope that the South Africa can go in there with a solid game plan and trust themselves as a unit, because I feel that South Africa are better as a unit, as a team, if everybody contributes, and that needs to be the key for everybody. Um, so yeah, let's go on. Let's move on to the next question. Um, why isn't Kyle Verreynne being given enough opportunity? Um, I don't know. It's a difficult question to ask. Me particularly. I'm always going to back Calvert and always say that he needs more opportunities. But in this format, for example, I do think that he's the better batter between himself and the Klaassen, the better keeper, sorry, between him and Klaassen. But when you're batting at number six, when you're in that number six position, South Africa are desperate need of a finisher, a proper finisher, and I don't think Kyle fits that finisher role. I think Kyle fits that maybe number four role or number five role that can rotate the strike when we're in trouble, come in there and take us out of trouble when we need it. But he's not necessarily the biggest hitter when it comes to T20 cricket. 50 over cricket's a different story. You have more overs to work with, as well as Test cricket. I do think he deserves more opportunities in Test cricket. I'm going to move on from that one, Aditya, because we've spoken about that in depth in other shows. Which players should be involved in the India Test who are playing in CSA 4-day series? It's very difficult for me to say that right now, because I don't think there's been enough games for us to make a massive statement like that. I think we need to first have a look at maybe the first half of this, or the first this month maybe. Let's see this month out and see how the players perform halfway through, and see who is topping those lists and who's performed very well, because it's all about consistency. If there's a player that's really standing out that has performed last season and the season before, then I think we have an opportunity to get any of them in, because South Africa currently, I don't think the middle order is 100% set. I'm looking at a guy like Rassi, maybe he could be replaced. I'm looking at a guy maybe like Temba even. It depends on um, how everything is going to be situated, how everything's going to work out with regards to transformation as well, and all of those type of things you need to think of as well. But there is some spots up for grabs in this. There are some spots up for grabs in this particular team, and I think that there are positions that need to be filled, that South Africa need to look at. But I also think South Africa need to look at the future with the Test team. I think they've tried to go to the old trial and tested, but I think it's time for now for South Africa to look at the future and maybe build a team through this Test championship and then try to win the next one. I think that should be the mentality. I think that we need to trust a lot of the younger guys that are showing potential in the national setup, and we need to take that risk right now, because we're going to sit in a situation where we're constantly rebuilding after every 2 years, which I don't want to see. I want South Africa to build a team over 4 years and say, look, this is our team 4 or 5 years, maybe 6 years. This is our team that we're going to put together. So yeah, let's see what comes up with regards to that.
Just one addition to that. Um, with Faf du Plessis retiring from Test cricket, that spot has the number four spot has opened up for Keegan Peterson, and I think it would unsettle the squad if the number four spot is now given to someone else. Because remember, Keegan Peterson is new to international cricket and he's been tried under tough conditions in the West Indies. So I think to be fair to him, it would be useful to give him an opportunity against India in home conditions. But beyond that, I don't think there's a lot of changing that's needed, because Rassi did very well in the West Indies. Temba is probably coming back into the side, and so on. And obviously, Aiden Markram and Dean Elgar are going to be at the top of the order as well. So I don't think there needs to be a lot of chopping and changing right now. But it would be good to see Keegan Peterson hold his number three spot or number four
Mhm.
spot.
Yeah, I would obviously like to see Zubair Ramza get another opportunity as well, in the Test arena. Well, luckily there is an India A tour happening, and that's a place where those guys can really put up their hands. I think that's where what we need to ask is who's going to be in that ISA A team. That's going to be key, because I think if someone stands up and performs there, they might get an opportunity to showcase their talent on the world stage. Smash the like button, please, guys. I want to see at least 30 likes on this particular video. If you can, minimum 30 likes, and we can go further and further if you can get it higher and higher, if you share it to more people. Let's go to Kirtan's question. He normally comes on a call-in shows, so hopefully we'll have a call-in show after the review. It's probably going to be a massive show on Saturday after the game, where you guys get a chance to call in and have your say. So please tell all your friends and family to do so. Smash the like button, please, and subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell. Is it time to move on from Rassie in T20s and try an aggressive batter like Marco Murray? I'm taking it. I do think that it's time in certain formats to maybe say thank you to Rassie. I don't think this idea of keeping so many anchors in the team is a good way to go forward. I think South Africa need to try and get themselves up to a point where they can compete with the likes of England every single time they walk out into the middle, and play that aggressive, smart cricket that we've always been talking about. But that will mean that we need some more attacking batters into the side. I would like to see Yanaman Malan put up his hand and really fight for that number 4 position. I would like to see Aiden Markram open the batting with Quinton de Kock in the future, and that be the partnership to go forward. I would like to obviously see the next generation of talent coming through and building a T20 team for the next World Cup, because I don't think that this team, we'll see obviously tomorrow, but I don't think this team personally is a team that will be able to play in the next one as well, if we are struggling already in this one when a lot of these players are supposed to be in their peak. So currently I think we need to build for the next World Cup. It's very important that the next T20 World Cup we build for, and I hope that the core group of those players will be in the 2023 World Cup squad, with a mixture of other guys too. What's your thoughts on that? Is it time for us to, after this World Cup, to say thank you, Rassie? We're going to try and go for a younger, more attacking batter, or do you think Rassie can play a little bit, a couple of years still for the Proteas?
Joel, Rassie has to be there. Look, one thing we forget is that Rassie is just 32, and he's only played international cricket for 2 or 3 years. So he has a lot of cricket left in him. And, sometimes I think we tend to make that mistake of slotting him as an anchor player, because perhaps he's been slow to start off. But Rassie is more than capable of smacking them long. And, just a few days ago, he hit 100 or 55 balls in a warm up game against Pakistan. Sure, we can call it a warm up game, but, it was a top bowling lineup. And he really took them to the cleaners. And he's done that at the international level also. It's very hard to leave out a player of Rassie's caliber, because my worry then is, can you guarantee that Rassie's replacement is going to perform as well or better than him? Because you only replace a player if you feel like that replacement can play better than the current player. And can we actually
I think
guarantee that?
Janaman can. I think
But
Janaman can.
Yaneman's not a number 4 player, right? He's not a number 4, number 5 player. Yaneman is best suited for the top of the order, I think. And look, I think that's the challenge in world cricket, isn't it? Where most players are sort of best suited to bat in the top 4, and that's the concern, because I think at some point South Africa need to have like a stronger 5, 6, and 7.
I know Test cricket is like, for example, I know Test cricket is different. We can't really compare the formats, but I think that Test cricket is more of a specialist format than a T20 format is. Like, I don't believe that the T20 cricket is as special when it comes to batters. I don't think it's as speciality driven as say ODI cricket or the longer formats. That's me personally. I think that players can be adaptable, a lot more adaptable in T20 cricket. Now, I'm not just necessarily saying that you're going to open up with your all-rounder or go with your number 6, but in certain cases that's happened. We've seen Sam Curran come at the top of the order for the CSK in successful games and do so. So I think that T20 is a lot more adaptable than other formats. And when we look at the 4-day cricket arena, the Boland has opted to play with Yanaman at number 4. He scored a double century from number 4, and he's a specialist opener in the format. So there is an adaptability vibe within him that I feel that he's aggressive enough and he has the ability to be able to bat in number 4. But when you have an Aiden Markram in the team that can bat 4 and be more aggressive than a guy like Rassie van der Dussen, well, there we go. Then we have that opportunity. I think the question about Rassie, I still think that Rassie has a lot to give to South African cricket. Doesn't mean that I don't think that maybe he needs to start every single game. I think that what we need to do is we need to have him within the setup still, within the team environment, play some games, play games when we need him to play, but also give another person as a backup, as an opportunity in certain games as well. Particularly when we're playing a 3-match series or 4-match series, maybe give the last one to to the younger guy that is understudy to Rasif van der Dussen maybe as in the team. But I think we need to start thinking about the future already. South Africa have done an injustice to our teams and to the players in this country because me personally, I feel that we've lost an opportunity to learn from the likes of Amla, AB de Villiers, Faf du Plessis, Dale Steyn, Vernon Philander. We've lost opportunities to allow youngsters to come into the setup and learn from them as understudies. They don't necessarily to start every game, but there were certain games where they could have, tried something new. And given a guy that's probably going to be our batter for the next 5, 6 years after Rassi retires and after all of these guys retire, they're going to be the guys that are going to have to step in. And then we're putting so much pressure for them to come in and hit the ground running where they could have built up to that point. And I think that's where South Africa have lacked missed the trick over there. You can see it with a team like Sri Lanka doing it well. Pakistan do it very well with a new.
Your mic's gone off.
Oops, sorry, I hit my. We've seen Sri Lanka's done it well. We've seen India does it excellently. You can see a guy like Kishan coming through the system. We can see Shaw as well. Shabnam Gill's been given opportunities already. We know, you guys know already. These are the guys that are going to be our next. We don't. We have absolutely no clue who's going to be the next generation of superstars. And I don't understand why we can't have younger backup. Not having a 36-year-old on the bench as a backup to a number 6. Do you get where I'm going with this? Like, there are options.
I think that's as much a question of selection as it is of coordination between domestic teams and the national team, and it's also a question of role clarity, because this it was something that I was just having a conversation uh, with someone about regarding India's performance. So because you mentioned the Indian team, Anishan Kishan and a bunch of
Uh,
players, right?
Yeah, sorry. I mentioned Bavuma as well, guys. I didn't only say Rasi. I said Rasi and Bavuma. So just please give me a don't get so upset. Sorry, Aditya.
You know, I was just reflecting a little bit on India's performance in this World Cup, right? And it's been disappointing to say the least, right? Then I thought that India is probably one of those teams that has an overlap of 7 players, right? 7 players in the first choice T20 team that is playing at the moment also happen to be first choice players in the test team, right? So because India plays 15 tests a year, when it's time to rest players, they rest it from the T20 format, right? And so the younger players that you mentioned come into the picture, which is great. But then in tournaments like the World Cup, you sort of get found out. Because if you look statistically, Virat Kohli has played more alongside AB de Villiers than he has alongside Rohit Sharma. Rohit Sharma has played more alongside Karen Pollard than he has alongside Virat Kohli.
Now, no wonder
Faf du Plessis,
Rohit Sharma has won IPL and Kohli hasn't.
yeah.
Oh, Bob dropped.
But look, that's one way of blooding youngsters, right? That's one way of getting new players into the team. where you almost go in this direction where you have separate test teams and separate white ball teams. So that's one way of doing it. But if you do have an overlap, and many of South African T20 players are going to be test players and vice versa. It's important to get that selection right, and it's important to have that role clarity in mind, because in this day and age, that seems to be the most important part of succeeding in the T20 format for your national team.
Yeah. I think maybe I am also hopping on a little bit too much on age as well. I'm always been a type of guy like that. You'll know by the way I support Man United as well. I'm all for the giving young talent the opportunity, especially if the young talent are not far off the current talent that are there of age. Because I like to look for longevity in having a group. So I prefer types of teams that try to grow a group core of players, and they go up together and they perform together, rather than having rotation every 2 or 3 years of just switching players and mix matching them according to things. I like to guys to grow momentum over time and then go for major trophies, because I think that you can get sustained success like that a lot easier than getting success. Like for example, we are currently seeing it now with that under 19 World Cup winning team. And we saw the only team in South Africa to ever win a World Cup trophy is an under 19 side, and that was Aiden and KG. And Aiden and KG and Andile were part of that unit. Okay, Andile hasn't been the same, hasn't been the best of form. I think he needs to really get his form in order, because he hasn't been the best. There are a lot of young up and coming all rounders that are really going to be knocking on our door. There's one currently playing for the Cobras, and there's one currently playing for KZ in England that I really have my eye on, and I think have a very big opportunity to really become the next best all rounders in this country in the future. We've got the likes of Jason Smith that's moved franchises, and it looks like it might be the right thing for him. So when I'm looking at this particular unit, we have the likes of um, Aiden and KG coming from that match winning side that are kind of going to be the core of this particular team. You know what I mean? So they're coming up together. They know each other well. They're coming into this setup. Lungingidi as well into that setup as well. So we need to build. I strongly believe we need to build around a core group of players, which I think there's a spine in this team currently of world class players like KG, Aiden, Andrich Nokia, Lungin Gidi, and am I missing out someone? And yeah, that's kind of like the core of this team. And Quentin de Kock, that's the kind of the core of this particular team. And then you've got the likes of experienced guys like Rassi that you've added in from a domestic, and then you've got experienced guys like Temba that you've added into the mix, and then Keshav Maharaj and Tabray Shamsi. And then you've got that core group of players that you've kind of built. So now if you can replace them, like Riza Hendricks as well is in that mix kind of at the moment. They kind of looking to settle in over there. We don't have a unique and David Muller, I can't forget about David Muller. And then we don't have a specialist finisher in the side, which is a big worry for me. And there are guys coming to the system that can possibly take that opportunity to do so. Some teams have a finisher that are 6 and 7 that are all rounders. Then others have a specialist finisher that are this big hitters. So you can go either way, but South Africa need to find the synergy over there, you know. Then you can, when Rassi goes, when Temba goes, when Maharaj decides he's going to leave, you've got guys that can replace them. So maybe Bjorn Fortuin comes into the mix, George Linde comes into the mix. Now you're building a young core group of players. But I think that when you have your bench, your extra, you're from 12 maybe to 15 in a squad, I think those have to be young players. So that when someone's injured, when someone drops out, give a young player an opportunity to show what he's capable of. That's what I think should happen with South African cricket. I don't want to see 36-year-olds and 35-year-olds on the bench waiting for an opportunity to play for South Africa, especially when they are not outperforming the younger guys in the domestic leagues. There's a lot of younger guys that are performing in domestic leagues. They might be 1% or 2% off, what those senior guys are doing. So that's what I would like to see from South Africa. Anyway, guys, I think that's all I have for today. This was our fan Q&A. This is your opportunity where you get to ask us any questions. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I hope you guys enjoyed the questions that were sent in on Instagram. You guys tend to comment a lot in the live chat, but not ask a lot of questions. I'll go to Stuart Judge over here because he has asked us a question, and he says, "Do you think that something should be introduced that each province should have X players under certain age?" I think they should do something like a rookie type of thing within the domestic setup. I think South Africa's domestic setup is big enough now to be able to do something like that. With the extra teams that are involved, I think now that the teams have grown, there's more teams in Division 1, Division 2, particularly in that knockout games, that knockout CSA knockout tournament that South Africa played in the beginning of the season. I think that is a perfect opportunity for teams to take that on, as well as the MSL, the Mzansi Super League. Thanks a lot for tuning in, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thank you, Aditya, for joining me once again. It's good to see your face. Don't forget to subscribe to Cricket Fanatics Magazine Monthly. It's 100% free. Click the link in the description and the eye on the top right of the screen. Also, if you're new to the channel, smash that like button. We want to get over 30 likes on this video. Share this with all your friends and family. Subscribe to the channel. Click that notification bell for all future videos as well, please. That's how you get to know when everything is happening with regards to Cricket Fanatics Magazine on this particular channel. So massive sporting weekend, guys. I would like you guys to tag in all the Proteas players, tag in Cricket South Africa, give them their best wishes for the game tomorrow, give them all positive vibes, give South Africa the best chance of possibly winning that game. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you again tomorrow for the review show. Make sure that you actually tune in for our review, because it's going to be a massive one, I'm hoping. Thanks a lot, guys, and we'll see you guys very, very, very soon. Take care, everybody, and enjoy your weekend.